Hi, third grade. Today, what we're going to be working on in English is negative words and how these words, when added to a sentence, can pretty much change the meaning and make it an opposite meaning. So, as we see here, a negative idea is formed in several ways. One is by simply adding the word not to the verb. So, if we add not to our verb, then it would be meaning it is negative. It didn't happen. And as we can see, adding not as part of a word like didn't and can't and won't. What these actually mean, and you know from when we made contractions before, this is did not. He did not do his homework. That's the opposite of he did his homework, right? Or I can't go out and play. I cannot. That would be the opposite of I can go out and play, or won't. Remember, won't is that special contraction. It's actually the contraction for will not. He will not eat his dinner, or he won't eat his dinner. That would be the opposite of he will eat his dinner. Now, because these words tell more about verbs, they are adverbs, and we just got finished talking about adverbs. So look at these negative sentences. The cage was not clean. She didn't or did not feed the canary. And here's another one. Oh, we forgot that one up here. Never, right? She never feeds the class pet. So these are telling more about the verb. She did not feed the canary. Okay, it's telling about what she didn't do, right? She never feeds. This one we should even go with like when, right? When does she feed the class pet? Never, right? So that would be a negative word, but it's also an adverb. Okay, so let's look at these two here. I never let my cat outside, and she is always in the house. Well, which one is a negative idea being expressed in this sentence? Well, we see the word never here and always here. Well, up here, never is a negative word, so sentence A uses never. It is a negative word, so the sentence is an expression of a negative idea. Okay, now be careful though, this is important right here, to use only one negative word in a sentence. So look at this sentence. I don't never forget to walk my dog. Well, look, I have not here in that contraction, and I also have never. This is what we call a double negative. We never use double negatives. If I were to say that sentence with a double negative, it says we don't never. That would be wrong. We never use double negatives. And you can see the sentence is incorrect because it has two negative words, the don't and the never. So we'd have to get rid of one of them. We could either say I don't forget to walk my dog or I never forget to walk my dog, but we can't use both of them. All right, so let's look here at exercise 1, finding the negative word in each sentence. Well, remember, we're looking for this up here, right? Not, or our contractional part of not, or never. So let's look. Wild animals never make good pets. Well, if we look up there, never would be our negative word. People can't provide a good home for a tiger. Well, here we have it in a contraction form. Can't, cannot provide a good home. Number 3, a yard isn't big enough for animals that like to roam. Again, we have our contraction with not. A yard is not big enough. Even a gentle wild animal should not be kept as a pet. Here we just have the word not. And finally, parents shouldn't let young children play with wild animals. Again, we have a contraction with not. Parents should not let young children play with wild animals. All right, so let's take a look now at, we want to erase all this, right? Because we moved pages. Well, let's get moving here. So I have option for a bigger eraser. Nope. Okay. All right, so let's look at this section once I get this all erased. All right, we're going to make each of these sentences a negative. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a practice here. All right, so we're going to rewrite each sentence that incorrectly expresses a negative idea, but not all of them have errors in them. That's some more that I need to erase here. Okay, so let's get back to here. My parents won't never let me have a pet. Is that correct or incorrect? My parents won't never let me have a pet. Well, I have a negative here, won't, will not, and then I have never. That's also a negative. So this would be one that is expressed incorrectly. We should either say my parents won't let me have a pet or my parents will never let me have a pet. We can't have both. Remember, that is a double negative. Let's look at number 2. They don't like cats. Well, there's one. That's it. So that one's okay. Let's look at number 3. They don't never want to walk a dog. Here we have don't again, but now we have never as also a negative. So this one also is a double negative. They don't never want to walk a dog. It should either be they don't want to walk a dog or they never want to walk a dog, not both. Number 4, I can't even get a bird. Well, can't is one. I don't see any other negatives, so that one looks okay. I don't want a goldfish. There's a negative. That's the only one I see there, too. How about number 6? It isn't no trouble to care for a bird. Isn't is a negative, but this one here, that's a negative too. We didn't really talk about that one, but it is a negative. It isn't no trouble. We wouldn't say that. We would either say it isn't any trouble, right? We would say it isn't any trouble or it's no trouble, but we wouldn't say it isn't no. We have to get rid of either the not or the no there. So that is also a double negative. All right, let's look at number 7. My sister doesn't want no dog. There's a not here, does not. And then, oh, there's that little no again. We can't do that. This has a double negative as well. My sister does not want a dog, or my sister wants no dog, right? So we can't use both of them. Here, look again. We have another one. We don't have no room in our house. We could say we don't have any room in our house, or we do not have or we have no room in our house. We can't say we don't have no room. It's either we don't have any or we have no room. Let's look at number 9. We have no garden or yard. Well, here's a negative, but that's the only one. So this one is okay. Oh, I didn't circle this one. Oh, that's a double negative there. All right, number 10. My mother didn't have no pets as a child. Here's one, didn't, and there's that no again. My mother didn't have no pets. We can't have both of these as negatives. Again, it's a double negative. So it could either be my mother didn't have any pets as a child or my mother had no pets as a child. We can't have both. My father never had pets either. Well, there's a never, but that's the only one, so we're okay with that one. I never pass a pet shop without looking at the dogs. There's never again, but that's it, so we're okay. Number 13, I didn't see no black cats at the pet shop. Well, here we have a negative, didn't, did not, and here we have that little no again. So again, that's a double negative. So it wouldn't be I didn't see no black cats. It would be I didn't see any black cats or I saw no black cats. And let's try this last one. I haven't given up on my wish for a pet. Well, haven't, have not. That's the only one I see. So that one is all right. So these sentences that we circled, these are what have what we call double negatives. They have too much negative in them. We only need one form of a negative word to express a negative idea. We don't want to double it up. All right, and finally, down here in exercise 3, it says rewrite each sentence so that it expresses a negative idea. So we're just going to switch them over. So instead of saying snakes are my favorite animals, we want to make it the opposite. So we could say snakes are, well, I don't know if I can write with this, not my favorite animals, right? I like the way they move. We could say I don't like the way they move. For my parents, a boa is a good choice for a pet. You could say, for my parents, a boa isn't a good choice. Boy, that doesn't write very well. Sorry, guys. Number 4 says, Mom really does like most reptiles. Well, we could change this does to doesn't. Mom really doesn't like most reptiles. My sister is scared of snakes. We want to make it the opposite with a negative word, so we'd say, my sister isn't scared of snakes. Some snakes are poisonous. We could say the opposite. Some snakes are not poisonous or aren't poisonous. I have seen a boa at the zoo. We would change this have. I have not seen a boa, or I haven't seen a boa at the zoo. Number 8 says many people fear snakes. Many people do not fear snakes or never fear snakes. We could change it by putting one of those in there. Number 9 says some owners feed frogs to their snakes. Well, we could say some owners don't feed frogs to their snakes, or some owners never feed frogs to their snakes. And the last one says snakes get sick often. Snakes do not get sick often. Okay, so that's how we would change those sentences to make them negative. So what you're going to do now, after you've watched this video, is you're going to go and you are going to answer some questions. You are going to find the negative words in some sentences. Then you're going to rewrite some sentences so that it correctly expresses, like up here. And then you're going to change a sentence to make it negative, to express a negative idea, like we did down here. Okay, so that's what you're going to work on. So good luck, and that is all.